This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak, and finally I'm getting around to talking about Sony's next generation of console. This past week we got some information about it and just giving my quick thoughts on the matter. So Mark Cerny spoke with Wired this past week and gave some details on what's going to what the next generation console is shaping up to be. Of course, they're sticking with the AMD architecture. They'll be using, I believe, the third generation of the AMD Ryzen series of processors to be used in the infrastructure that they develop for them. There's going to be some use of some techniques that, from what Mark Cerny made mention and what the article made mention, something that you generally only see in Hollywood graphics techniques, ray tracing, which helps kind of simulate how light properly bounces off of objects so that you can get a better visual effect, better depth shading and things like that of objects. This is said to be something that can possibly be used with audio as well. They talked up the audio aspects of the console as well, saying that they're trying to build an audioscape that'll give you an experience like you've never had before, especially when used with gaming headsets. Cerny seemed to kind of stress, which seems pretty cool. He said that this the audioscape that they're going to use should be able to be used with TV speakers as well, but it's best going to be used with headphones. They also mentioned that they're going to be using a new type of SSD drive, which is supposed to load much faster, and to be of a decent size capacity. They didn't say what capacity, but they definitely did emphasize the speed by doing a demo of Spider-Man with it, showing how the load times between the new architecture and a Pro were significantly different. Now, it's funny how the SSD thing is probably the thing that stood out the most for me, because I think that's a really good move to that technology now that it's getting cheaper, and probably by the time this console actually goes out into mass production, they'll be even more price efficient. It would be cool to see if we get at least 2 terabyte SSD drives in this system. That would be pretty cool. Like me myself, I have a hybrid 2 terabyte SSD hard drive. What that means is basically it is part SSD, part regular hard drive. I definitely do get faster load times than I would have got if I would have stuck with my basic hard drive. But this is said to be much better. So it's good that they're coming out with this, and it seems like they're really pushing the envelope on the load time thing, because they talked a lot about the graphics and how graphics are improving. It seems like with all these different techniques and things they want to do graphically, it is definitely a benefit to them to have these SSD drives to help further push that along. They spoke about kind of backwards compatibility, as you kind of got the hint that it's going to be backwards compatible once they use Spider-Man on the architecture, because the architecture is going to be similar to that of the PS4, just better. And it helps that they're sticking with a line. It's funny because when you think about it, companies did kind of flip and flop through hardware architectures with their consoles back in the day, basically trying to find maybe the best bidder or who had the more appealing package to you as far as hardware, when looking at companies to go with. So it's good that they're keeping a standard line going through these consoles right now, which should benefit them if they continue to make consoles beyond this iteration. They also mentioned, of course, VR. With the PlayStation VR headset being relatively new, they don't want to necessarily throw the platform to the wayside, so it will be compatible with the next generation PlayStation, and they're not talking yet about whether or not there's going to be a newer version that's going to fully take advantage of the newer technology. They basically didn't say no, but they're not ready to discuss that just quite yet, so it's probably a safe bet that that is going to be coming down the line. They also made the whole promise of like it should be 8K ready, which I don't really care. Like, I didn't care when they said the 4K thing, because I said this to people when them and Microsoft were making these claims. It's like, at the time, 4K gaming isn't even that stable on a PC. So why am I to really believe that it's going to like automatically be like, bow, there you go, 4K in all its glory on console? I mean, yeah, you could, with checkerboarding, get higher quality resolutions and all of that, but I don't think until the Xbox One X we actually got true 4K to consoles. So it was like, yeah, you had to reiterate your hardware to like adjust for that. And again, even to this day, 4K content is not that prevalent on PC, let alone console itself. So slow down. Don't worry about 8K yet. Get what you're doing right now correct, and not really push that as a selling point. I'm sure it works for some. For me, care less. But it is what it is. So yeah, the PlayStation 5 is sounding interesting. Now, a couple of things. One, the backwards compatibility. Since we know that they were using Spider-Man with it, I'm very, very curious as to what the deal would be for people who digitally purchase PS4 games. If this system is fully backwards compatibility, as it seems to be, am I gonna have to pay to download that? I feel like if you're basically of the same architecture and your game is probably built to function on that, if not be easily functionable on the newer platform with the patch, are you gonna give it to me for free, or are you going to try to encourage me to try to purchase it all over again? This goes for digital and hard copy, by the way. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, but they'll give more details when, we don't know, because Sony's not doing E3 this year. I think they're just going to let Microsoft blow their load and then try to counterpunch. If Microsoft is smart, don't show all your eggs in one basket. Show some, give Sony some time to come out and try to breathe their fire, and then come back with places like Gamescom and all of that to kind of build yourself up better, so that you don't get waylaid by Sony and their shenanigans. But definitely looking forward to hearing more about the PlayStation 5, or whatever they're going to call it. Just call it PlayStation 5. You don't need to change up the name at this point. The numbers have worked pretty damn fine for you so far. But yeah, sounds good. So with that, you guys, feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Blak, and I'm out. Deuces.